Welcome back, everybody, to the Jayhawks Dynasty here, episode 51, as we reach the halfway mark of 100 episodes. If we'll ever get there, I don't know, but today we take on a Big 12 opponent once again in the Oklahoma State Cowboys. We have won 3 straight games, with 2 of those wins coming against teams that we have never won against before, Texas and Oklahoma. And today we have an opportunity to go 4-0 against teams that we definitely should not be beating. We have a chance now to go 7-2 or 8-2 on the season, but if we lose, it'll be 7-3 to start the year. So far on 1st and 10, Donnell Harris is going to get it on the crossing route. He's got 21 yards. Maurice Butler, ever since he came in to start a few weeks ago, he has not looked back a single second. He has been amazing on the field, and he has just had so many clutch moments as he's got the pass out at the last second to Lawrence Arnold, and the offense quickly moves downfield. But Conrad Hawley was just too inconsistent. He was too turnover heavy, and on a 3rd and 4, Butler on the read option, he's going to get 1 yard maybe. So he will get a field goal on the board for the offense if Vincent can knock this one through, and he does just that, barely up the middle of the crossbar, and it is a 3-0 game. Excuse the scoreboard, it disappeared for whatever reason, but on a 1st and 10, Mays is going to fire to the outside, and he's intercepted on the first play of the game for the Cowboys offense. That was Donovan Gaines with the clutch catch, and he dove right there in front of the receiver. Now 3rd and 19 on the next possession. They get it to Cardell, but the offense would stall out, and another field goal for Vincent would go right down the middle of the uprights. So a 6-0 score is where we stand with about 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. Now the offense is back on the field for Oklahoma State, and he has a wide open man downfield. Into the end zone goes Green, and that was fast-paced, I'll tell you. But Bryson Green could have easily got tackled. Jacoby Bryant dives a little too far to the left, and instead of a touchdown or instead of an incompletion, the Cowboys get a touchdown. So now the Jayhawks are playing from behind. It's a 1-point game as we get to the final seconds of the first quarter. Butler fires outside deep downfield to Johnson to the 30. Breaking away from his man down to the 15, and now tackled at about the 12. That would be 48 yards on the play. So a 3rd and 8 now. Butler, the offense is struggling to go anywhere, and he gets hit hard. Man, that one hurt to see. And Vincent will go for his 3rd field goal, and this one will hook right, and it stays right the entire way. The Jayhawks offense struggling to get anything on the board. Each time they get into the red zone, it's only a field goal as Mays makes a man miss, and he continues running. Scott Mays, 27 yards, and this Oklahoma State offense came to play today, folks. They have not backed down a single second from this defense. On a next 1st and 10, they get it to Bryson Green again. Or this one, excuse me, is Blaine Green. He just shoves the man off of him. And now a 3rd and 8. Dabney on the corner blitz. It looks like they bring Bray in motion. 3rd and 8. Cameron Dabney comes running in. Great pickup on the sack, and he gets taken down. Caleb Taylor is right there for Scott Mays to not get the pass off. And a 4th and 15 as we get them to stop their drive. But the Jayhawks defense was just too late. Too little, too late on that one. Now it is going to be a 3rd and 10 on the next Jayhawks possession. Butler out of the shotgun. Nobody's open at all, so he fires at the last second, and it's intercepted by Reagan. Reagan returning it back across the midfield mark and down at about the 43-yard line. Maurice Butler forced that one in there. No one was open. He just tried his best to make a play happen, and instead we're getting the Cowboys on offense again. Scott Mays, another read option, this time for 7 yards. Thankfully not another 27-yarder like we saw last time. 2nd and 3 though. Mays wants to fake it to the running back. Instead he keeps it himself again, and I have it set to where they go after the quarterback, but for whatever reason, head coach Meems cannot get that through the defensive players' heads as they just continue to try and take down the running back, and instead on a play-action pass, they get it to the outside, and another 1st down for the Cowboys. Now 1st and goal. He's going to go to Sanders, and nobody even touches Brian Sanders with a 17-6 lead now as the Jayhawks offense's struggles continue. On a 1st and 10, Butler is going to go to Neal on the ground. He's got great blocking on the left side, and he is finally able to spring something. He struggled all day long, so now another 1st and 10. They flip the play, give it back to Neal. Some great blocking on the right side, and he is going to make a man miss. 10 yards later down the field, he gets fallen over for the 1st down. Now a 2nd and 6. Butler wants to fire to the end zone, and he's sacked. Loses 8 yards, and he would have to come out of the game for that one. Instead, it's Conrad Hawley on 3rd and 13, rolling out to the end zone. Touchdown, Jayhawks. Conrad Hawley firing to Devin Neal on his first pass attempt of the day. And we did learn shortly after that Maurice Butler had a minor concussion, but he would be held out of the game completely. And now we have to settle for Conrad Hawley or Larry Johnson to lead this team in a comeback win over the Cowboys. You saw that diving catch by Green on the last possession. Now 3rd and 10, he fires to the end zone, and it's almost intercepted. Jonquay Lewis drops a perfect catch. That was likely the best opportunity they would have to get an interception on this team after the first pass of the day was intercepted, and instead they get a field goal out of that drive. So now it's 2013, 7:55 in the 3rd quarter, the first drive of the 2nd half. Mays is going to open the play, or the 2nd half, up with he gets out of the sack. Gives it to Owens up the middle. He tramples down the middle of the field wide open for about 25 yards. How did Scott Mays escape both of those defensive linemen? We'll never know. On a 3rd and 4, though, Brian Sanders is going to make a man miss on the juke move, and he gets a 1st down. Now 3rd and inches. Scott Mays out of the shotgun. Likely going to keep it on the ground here, and they do just that with Sanders. He's got a one man to get around, and 6 yards later, it's a 1st and goal. 2nd and goal now after the play. Brian Sanders in the backfield. Instead, they give it to Anderson, and Will Anderson with a touchdown. As this league continues to grow, the Jayhawks offense needs to get something going with Conrad Hawley under center. On a 1st and 10, he rolls around the same play from earlier, and it works again. Devin Neal to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, down at about the 7-yard line. A 2nd and goal on that same drive. Punch it in, Daniel Hishaw Jr., and the Jayhawks have a 1-yard touchdown run right back in this game. They would not get the 2-point conversion, so it remains 27-19 as they were not able to convert on the play. 3 minutes and 17 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter, and the Jayhawks defense just gave up a 21-yard catch on a 3rd and 18. 2nd and 5 now for the Cowboys. Mays is going to give it to Sanders. He's got a lot of room up the middle, and he runs it again. 6 yards and another 1st down. This defense has not forced a single punt today. 1st and 10. Scott Mays fires across the middle to Bray, wide open. Jaden Bray with a 16-yard touchdown. And it's starting to look a little dire for this team. On a 2nd and 9, Sean Johnson from Conrad Hawley. 14 yards on the outside, and he's able to get something there at least as we start to move down the field. 2nd and 10, go to the outside, and it's Reagan again with the interception. The cornerback is going to break into the open field to the 50, 40, and he's finally shoved out of bounds by the quarterback, Conrad Hawley, as this may have killed any hope the Jayhawks had of coming back in this one. The defense has not been able to get a single stop, but that will help right there. Keenan Caldwell with the 8-yard sack, and a 3rd and 17 to open up the 4th quarter for the Cowboys. Mays has 2 backs beside him, Anderson and Sanders. It's a screen play to Sanders. He's got a lot of blocking in front of him. Can he get there? He cannot. Nice way to seal off the edge by Donovan Gaines, and the defense comes through when they need him the most. 2nd and 9 for Johnson, who's in the game, and he throws an interception. This time it's the linebacker, Oliver, and nobody's going to catch him into the end zone. 41-19 is the score, as the Jayhawks offense has struggled since Maurice Butler went down. And a 3rd and 12, Larry Johnson goes to Rector, and he does get the 1st down. This may be our worst performing game this season. The defense just has not had any consistency the last few weeks. And thankfully before that, our offense was able to come through in the clutch as Trevor Cardell on a nice vertical play gets a nice about 31-yard catch. And on a 3rd and 2, though, Devin Neal is brought down, wrapped up, and spun around to the ground. in a wildcat formation now with redshirt freshman Willie Allen in the backfield. 4th and 4. He wants to run it, and he cuts it back in. And a 5-yard touchdown run for the running back there. But the Jayhawks would not have much gas left in the tank here on a 3rd and 9. They have to get a stop. This could be the game if they don't. Scott Mays bringing Bray in motion out of the shotgun. A 5 wideout set. They fake the screen. Fire across the middle. Fumbled by Green, but it's recovered by Richardson, the receiver, and that would allow the clock to continue to wind down. 3rd and 8 now. Another opportunity to get a stop. Scott Mays fires outside to Williams, and he will get stopped short of the first down. 5 yards out of 8 needed, but instead they find themselves very close to field goal range. 3 minutes and 15 seconds remain as the clock ticks down on a 4th and 3. They're going to wait as long as they can to kick this one off, and the defense has come through before on a blocked kick once in this series, but it is going to be a miracle if that happens. They are about to snap it back to the holder. They snap it back. Kick is up, and it is good. That one just got enough power behind it to get through the goalposts, and 2:33 remains. 1st and 10. Hawley rolls out of the shotgun and fires. 19 yards later, Lawrence Arnold is on the ground. 1st and 10 later on that same drive. 2:16 remains. Down 44-25. Hawley wants to throw downfield across the middle, and who else would it be? His 3rd interception of the day. Reagan is able to get it there, and the Cowboys would come out of this one with a very impressive win over a top 20 opponent. The Jayhawks came out today, and they just could not produce anything on defense or offense. The 1 interception to start the day had a nice start or tone setter, but unfortunately the Cowboys offense was just a little too powerful for this Jayhawks team. Not the end of the world that we lost this one, as a 7-3 record is still good for first place in the conference. 5-2 in conference play. Conrad Hawley had himself a decent game when he was thrust into the role. He might actually end up transferring, considering he has not had a lot of playing time these last few weeks, and he's basically lost his job to Maurice Butler, a guy that we'll get to in a second. But Conrad Hawley finished the day 9 of 15, 176, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Maurice Butler 9 of 14, 147, the 1 interception right before he went down. And Larry Johnson 5 of 8, 80 yards and an interception. Rushing wise, we've got Devin Neal 16 for 60, no touchdowns on the day. He struggled. This Oklahoma State defense just seemed to have an answer to everything we threw at them. They were able to get penetration at every level of the field. Maurice Butler got sacked a whole lot of times. We did get 2 rushing touchdowns, one from Willie Allen and Daniel Hishaw Jr. respectively. Receiving wise, the best player was Trevor Cardell, 7 for 97. Donnell Harris, 4 for 48 to round out his day. And defensively, we were terrible. Romello Dotson, 8 for 8 tackles, 8 solo, no sacks from him. Donovan Gaines, 6 total tackles, all of them solo, and the 1 interception. We had a few sacks from Krishan Brown, Caldwell, Caleb Taylor, and that was about it. Maybe the most disappointing game I've ever seen. We came into this one, and I wasn't really worried about losing, and honestly, that could probably be the reason why we lost. And last week you saw we actually had a few guys lock us out of their board. I don't think we had any new commitments since I showed you guys last episode, but we are actually making some ground on a lot of important athletes. We've got Alex Skinner, a guy that we've pretty much, basically, he's committed to us no matter what. Morgan Weems is a guy that I'm going after very heavily. We have a visit coming up for him in a few weeks. Thankfully, we're not that far behind. We should be able to jump up around 1,000, I would say. Connor Poe is a guy that I haven't even recruited, and he looks like he might try and commit anyways. David Crowell. A lot of these guys we are jumping up on, and we're making some ground very quickly and very easily. Like Brian Clay is another guy there. Jordan Nelson is another guy there. Deion Carey is a guy that I'd like to get. John Graves is a guy that I've been putting some points into. Chad Bell as well. We have a lot of guys on here that I'd like to recruit and guys that I'd like for us to have on this team. So I'm kind of hopeful that at least a few of them will end up committing. If we go over to conference standings, though, we are still in the first spot in our side of the division. We're 5-2 in conference play. Next up is Texas, who is 5-3. Thankfully, we own the tiebreaker against them after defeating them last week, so that should not be too much of a harm towards our chances to get into the conference championship. But at the end of the day, we still have to beat Kansas State and Texas Tech. Texas Tech is the team we will be taking on next week, as we are unranked, once again falling out of the top 25. We cannot consistently stay in there, but hopefully by the end of the season we'll find ourselves back in the top 25. We are right on the outside as we dropped out from the 20th spot, and Akron is currently number 1 overall. That means Tulane must have taken a loss to Marshall. Yes, they did. Akron is the number 1 team in the country at 10-0. We'll have to see how that ends up for them. But next week, look forward to an episode against Texas Tech. The Red Raiders are 6-4 on the season, and it's not going to be a matchup that we can look at lightly. Thank you guys for watching this series. If you do enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time in a home matchup against the Red Raiders.